Hi, everybody. This is Paul Ura. Today is the 2 p.m. Tuesday, January 22nd winter weather webinar. This will be the last webinar for this event. I'll review a little bit about what happened last night, talk about some temperatures for this evening, and then also into the end of the week, and then just kind of wrap it up. The important updates: the winter storm warning has been canceled. The winter weather advisory has also been canceled. The only product that we still have ongoing is actually the cold weather advisory for the temperatures later tonight and into tomorrow morning. As always, it's being recorded. I'm going to send the slides out ASAP after this is complete. If you do have a question, please put it in the questions feature and I'll get to the questions at the very end. So the main points, again, our main products have been canceled early. They were technically into effect 6 p.m. tonight, but because everything is kind of pushed out and we're getting some improvement everywhere, we decided to go ahead and cancel those early. As far as what happened, the sleet and snow totals were generally a trace amount to about an inch along and just west of Interstate 35. The highest totals were actually along and east of Interstate 10 as you head over towards Houston. Like we kind of thought, that was kind of being to be the area where we could see some higher totals. And in fact, Gonzales had a 1.5 inch total, and then some pictures out of Fayette County into that 2 to 3 inch category. So pretty decent. Many area roads were impacted by ice overnight, some worse than others. Some traffic accidents were the result of that. We did have kind of minimal freezing, drizzle, and rain accumulations. Early in the event last evening, when it really started to kind of, when the precipitation started, the temperatures were still mainly above freezing. And right as soon as the temperatures kind of dropped below freezing, it kind of did switch over to the sleet and to those small little, I'll call them small little snowballs, little grapple. We didn't have a bunch of, I would say, snowflakes during the event, and that was kind of anticipated because of how dry the actual atmosphere was. Most roads will dry today, so we can't rule out some isolated refreezing, some black ice areas. I'll talk about that briefly. And then again, the cold weather advisory is still in effect through tomorrow morning, where we are expecting still those cold wind chills, as tonight will be the coldest night out of all the nights. And one thing to keep in mind, the cold air is not going to just go away. So we're actually still going to have hard freezes actually Thursday morning and even Friday morning. And I'll show some slides on that. Air temperatures currently, this was taken about 15 minutes ago. So at 1:45, you can kind of see on the left here that most areas are above freezing now. There's a few spots out in the hill country that are hovering right around 32, 31. They should climb above freezing here in the next hour or so under some sun. So that's good, allows for some of this ice and stuff to melt off. When I came to the office by 11, a lot of the roads were already dry just because we had sun for about an hour, and that did a really good job, really quick warm up of the asphalt and help things dry out. The wind chills right now, we're still actually gusting winds for about 15 to 25 miles an hour. And so we do have some wind chills out there, mainly in the 20s in a bunch of the region as well. I wanted to show you this. This was current radar and temperatures. And I wanted to show you that if you have any plans of traveling east right now, it's not good. Interstate 10, I got pictures from my brother around New Orleans, Baton Rouge with like 4 and 5 inches of snow. And so that ice and snow is all along Interstate 10, all the way to the Florida Peninsula. So traveling east is not good, especially the southeast United States for the next day. On the right-hand side is actually the current satellite image. This batch of white in the middle is actually cloud cover. There was very early on, you could kind of see a slither of where maybe there was some higher snow totals. That is going away very, very quickly under full sun. So unfortunately, we can't really show you the swath of kind of snow because the clouds and some of it has already kind of gone away. These are some of the sleet reports. It may be very hard for you to see on your screen these numbers, but generally along Interstate 35 down to San Antonio, up to Austin, and out in the hill country, like I said, a half inch, maybe up to an inch in some spots. We do have, let me just double check on one thing. Somebody was saying, has the meeting started, there is no sound. Can I get a confirmation that everybody is still hearing me? Or a few of you? Okay, thank you. Okay, good job. Unfortunately, it looks like one person may be having a problem there. Okay, I will continue. Yeah, so about a half inch to an inch right along Interstate 35. And like I mentioned, out here in Fayette County and Gonzales County, there was a swath of more of like showery type of things moving through last evening and overnight, and those were kind of like those sleet showers and those graupel little showers, and so that kind of led to some of those higher totals out east. This was kind of a map that we took those observations and created a map that kind of shows where the majority of the snow and sleet fell. It doesn't really capture well some of those isolated totals there in Gonzales and Fayette County, but overall you can kind of see the area where overall the forecast worked out pretty decent from where we thought the snow was going to be. So again, the only thing that really didn't kind of materialize very much was the freezing rain and that sort of development down here off the coastal plains down by Cuero and Karnes City and so forth. This was a capture just from a few minutes ago from drivetexas.org. You can see a lot of the eastern half of the state is still affected by at least some sort of ice on the roads. Earlier this morning when I first logged in, all of San Antonio, all of Austin District, all had their roads all icy as well. So generally some improvement from west to east as the sun and the temperatures have warmed up. So that trend will continue through the rest of the day of improvement as the temperatures are above freezing. There's a map that kind of shows the cold weather advisory that is in effect all the way through tomorrow morning. So again, the wind chills, the teens and the single digits are going to be the main concern there. These are actually going to be the low temperatures on the far left, where we see teens, pretty much at least the upper teens in most areas of south central Texas. And we are going to be warming up on Wednesday into the 40s, into maybe the near 50-degree mark. So at least some warm up is in our future here. So is there going to be any refreeze of any of this moisture? So just by my own observation coming into the office, where a lot of the roads were already kind of drying out, this wind that we have outside right now is definitely helping. The colder air and the drier air is actually helping. So between all of that, most roads are going to dry this afternoon and evening. So I do not anticipate any major travel concerns across any of our area tomorrow morning. The one caveat there, if you've lived anywhere north where you've dealt with snow a lot, you know that the north side of things, so the north side of buildings, the parking lots on the north side of a building where they're shaded this time of year in the wintertime, those shaded areas will be the last to lose the ice and any sort of slippery or snow on the ground or anything. That also came across when I was driving to work today underneath overpasses, right, that are protected. They don't get full sun. The temperatures stay colder. So those small little isolated spots you may have to just watch out for, but overall, no major concerns tomorrow. These are the lowest wind chills for Tuesday night and tomorrow morning. Like I said, most of these wind chill temperatures that you see on the map right now are actually with little wind. Most areas will see little wind overnight. The only places that will actually have, I would say, some decent gusts of wind are probably out in the hill country, where we could gust over about 10 miles per hour. So overall, not a ton of wind, but definitely with the cold temperatures forecasted and the little bit of wind that we have, still definitely a concern, and that's why we have the cold weather advisory in effect. These are charts that actually show the actual low temperatures for Thursday morning on the left and low temperatures for Friday morning on the right. Again, hard freezes expected still. Again, we are going to be warming up into the 50s on Thursday and probably near 60 on Friday, but definitely still cold in the mornings. So still remember those 4 Ps, the people, pets, pipes, and plants. So where are we headed? Well, if I showed you these maps 2 weeks ago, everything was way blue and we were expecting these cold Arctic outbreaks. Well, that is kind of gone for right now. You can see the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Actually, portions of Texas here, we actually may kind of get up into that normal to almost above normal sort of temperatures. And then good news for us too, for the 8 to 14 day outlook, much of the country is losing its big swath of cold and kind of a general sort of warm up. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a break from all the Arctic air here. Once we get rid of this system, it's going to be kind of back to our normal sort of January type weather. So just to recap the main points, again, the winter storm warning and winter weather advisory are now canceled. The cold weather advisory for the temperatures tomorrow morning is still in effect. And so that's primarily what we'll have to worry about now for the next several days, are still some hard freezes in the mornings. And of course, that minimal chance of having some shaded areas still have a little bit of ice, possibly. That's a very small possibly by tomorrow morning in some regions of our area. And so with that, I am going to take some questions if anybody has them. Yeah, I am probably going to be, there was a question here about, we just received a reminder about a webinar tomorrow. I'm going to go into GoToWebinar and actually cancel that. So again, this is actually the last planned briefing. So I will go ahead and cancel that out for tomorrow. Any weather concerns for Travis County around morning commute hours? The answer is no. As of right now, like I said, outside of those protected shaded areas that every city may have under an underpass or something, I just don't think all the roads and travel today, I know everybody's probably itchy to get out right now, so there's gonna be plenty of people driving around this afternoon and evening, and that should do a really good job of drying out the roads, and no more precipitation is expected, so overall, no issues. Same thing for northern Comal County. No planned issues once all these roads dry out for the rest of the afternoon. Again, another concern about the dangerous road conditions for the morning hours. The answer is no. Like I said, unless you know of areas that tend to keep the water on the road a long time compared to all the other roads, you would probably know that locally better than I would. Keep an eye on that, but beyond that, most of the roads should all be drying off very nicely this afternoon and evening, that there should not be any sort of widespread road issues tomorrow. All right, that is all the questions I see. So with that, I will say thank you everybody for attending all these webinars the past, what was it, about 6 days, I think we did these. So again, if you have any feedback, please let me know. I'll probably go ahead and I'll send out a little survey again, little QR code that has a survey that if you have some input on the way the slides are presented or the information we present, please go ahead and give us some input on that. Other than that, stay warm. Glad everybody kind of made it through the event. And if we do have any more additional winter storms this winter, we will fire up these webinars again and try to help out as best we can. Thank you guys for attending. Have a good day.